One video in and I'm already gonna have to ask you to wear your tinfoil hat. To me, a privacy phone itself is an oxymoron. It's just contradicting in nature. I remember I was a little freaked out when Apple was pushing Touch ID on the iPhone 5s. I was concerned how no one was worried about this. I always kept picturing them stealing my fingerprints and then just planting them on whatever crimes they want to, and then just framing me for the whole thing. Eventually, I talked myself down and just told myself that if someone really wanted my fingerprints, they could always just get it from the airports. Then Apple brought in the new M series co-processors for the sole purpose of collecting your sensor data, the gyroscope, the accelerometer, and the compass. Then came Face ID with facial recognition, and then the new iPhones 11 have a U1 chip for better spatial awareness, for better airdropping. And then the Pixel 4 went ahead and put in a goddamn radar on their phone for some reason. Not that it matters in India, but still. All of what I just mentioned are just hardware. There are probably thousands of software behaviors that are equally suspicious in nature. All of these hardware features aren't there to spy on you, but you have to admit, if they were used for spying, they'd make it really convenient. Alright, we can remove the tinfoil hat for a minute now. I brought all of this up because it is a genuine concern for some people. While I admit that a smartphone itself inherently brings in some risk, I at the end of the day only care when it's convenient. For all the people that do care all the time, you now have the Pinephone. Now, the hardware of this phone is clearly not the focus. They make that abundantly clear with their 2GB of RAM, 720p LCD display, 2 and 5 megapixel cameras, a 1.2 GHz quad-core processor with 16 GB of storage. In fact, the Pinephone might not even support your local frequency band, so you should probably get that checked out before you actually buy the phone. Yeah, this is starting to sound a whole lot like that potato that conducts electricity. Despite all this, I think this phone is a step in the right direction. Some of the commendable things that this phone did with the hardware was bringing back the removable battery and adding in a kill switch, which kills the Wi-Fi, the cellular, camera, and microphone. Gotta be honest, at $150 with a kill switch, this sounds like the kind of throwaway phone a spy would use. Just using the kill switch all day long and then driving an hour away from his base of operations to report back to his boss. The real appeal of this phone is the abundance of options in operating system. It has Ubuntu, it has Sailfish, and even the Android-based Replicant OS. There is more security and privacy to be found in anonymity. That is clearly what they're going for with this phone. The Pinephone, though, is not alone in this unique journey. The Purism Librem Phi also happens to have almost the same philosophy behind it with somewhat better specs, but it starts at $700. The same starting price as an iPhone 11, and $550 more than the Pinephone. This is probably what turned away many curious customers. The Pinephone, though, seems to understand the market better, with more operating systems available and a much lower price, making it more appealing to the public. Yeah, sure, it's not gonna threaten the iOS or Android market share, but I think there needs to be some competition to keep companies from forming a monopoly or duopoly. This is also the same reason I was excited when Huawei announced Harmony OS, despite all the US claims. When companies compete, consumers benefit.